You probably think what men find sexiest in bed involves wild positions or taboo fantasies. But what if I told you that scientific studies and the things men are often too shy to admit reveal something completely different? We're counting down the 13 surprisingly romantic and affectionate things that men secretly find the absolute sexiest. A few of these will definitely surprise you, so you'll want to stick around. For so long, we've been fed a script from movies and magazines that a man's desire is purely physical, almost animalistic. The stereotype says they were only interested in the chase and the visual. And while physical attraction is absolutely part of the equation, it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Major research from institutions like the Indiana University School of Public Health is pulling back the curtain on what truly drives male desire, and the findings are turning those old stereotypes on their heads. My name is Your Name, and as a relationship coach, I've spent years helping people build deeper, more passionate, intimate lives. What I've seen time and time again is that men, just like women, long for connection. They crave intimacy. They want to be seen, wanted, and emotionally connected to their partner. The sexiest moments are rarely the most acrobatic. They are the most authentic. In fact, when researchers have surveyed men on dozens of sexual behaviors, the ones that consistently come out on top aren't what you'd expect. The highest rated behaviors were things like frequent kissing during sex, cuddling, and hearing sweet romantic words from their partner. This tells us something huge. For men, the emotional context of sex isn't just a bonus, it's the main event. It's what separates a physical act from a deeply unforgettable experience. So today we're going to get into these findings and more. We'll break down the specific actions, words, and gestures that men secretly crave but might be afraid to ask for. Understanding these won't just boost your confidence, it will unlock a new level of passion in your relationship. And by the way, if you want to take that connection even deeper outside the bedroom, I've put together a free guide on the 5 secrets to building unbreakable intimacy. The link is waiting for you in the description below. Now let's get into the 13 sexiest things women do in bed. Number 13, wearing something that makes her feel sexy. All right, let's kick things off with number 13, and it's a big one that sets the mood for everything else. And no, it's not about squeezing into some specific lingerie you think he wants to see. The sexiest thing is when a woman wears something that makes her feel completely and totally confident in her own skin. You might think this is all about the visual for him. And yes, men are visual. But this goes so much deeper. This is about the energy you give off when you feel good about yourself. While some studies show men appreciate things like sexy lingerie, the secret ingredient isn't the lace itself. It's the confidence it gives the person wearing it. When a woman feels desirable, she carries herself differently. There's a change in her posture, a spark in her eye, a boldness in her movement. She's not just wearing an outfit, she's wearing a feeling, and that feeling is intoxicating. Confidence is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs, period. It signals self-worth and self-awareness. When you walk into the bedroom feeling amazing, you are non-verbally communicating that you're excited to be there and you're an equal participant in what's about to happen. Men are deeply attracted to this self-assured energy. It takes the pressure off of them to be the one responsible for making you feel sexy. Instead, he gets to join you in the sexiness you've already created for yourself. Think of it this way. There's a world of difference between a woman who puts on a teddy because she thinks she's supposed to, maybe tugging at it self-consciously, and a woman who slips into a simple silk robe, or even her favourite oversized t-shirt, because it makes her feel like a goddess. That second woman is magnetic. Her energy says, I am comfortable, I am desirable, and I am here for this. He doesn't just see an outfit, he feels the confidence radiating from her. This is so empowering because it puts the control back in your hands. You don't have to guess what he finds sexy. You just have to tune in to what you find sexy. What makes you feel powerful? Is it a matching lingerie set? Great. A cozy pajama set? Fantastic. Absolutely nothing at all? Perfect. The key is to choose whatever lets you step into your most confident self. Because when you feel sexy, he doesn't just see it, he feels it. And that's 1,000 times more potent than any piece of clothing. Number 12. Preparing the room and setting a romantic mood. Coming in at number 12 is something that shows you care before you even touch, taking the lead to prepare the room and create a romantic atmosphere. This is another one of those behaviours that, according to scientific surveys on sexual preferences, ranks surprisingly high on the list for men. The old stereotype is that men are purely functional about sex, that the where and how matter less than the when. But research tells a very different story. Men, just like women, are deeply affected by the sensory environment of an intimate moment. When a woman takes the time to make the room feel special, it sends a powerful message. This moment is important. You are important. I've been thinking about this, and I want it to be amazing for both of us. This isn't about some over-the-top production with 1,000 rose petals. The sexiest part of this is the intention. It's the thought you put into creating a space that's all about connection. It could be as simple as dimming the lights and lighting a few candles. It might be putting on a playlist you both love that helps you relax and tune into each other. It could even be just making sure the bed is made and the room is tidy, creating a sense of calm instead of chaos. Why is this so powerful for a man? First, it shows initiative and desire. When you take the lead in setting the mood, you're not passively waiting for intimacy to happen. You are actively creating it. This shows your own excitement, which is a massive turn-on. It says you're not just a willing participant, but an enthusiastic co-creator. A man wants to feel wanted, and an action like this shouts, "I want you, and I want this time with you." Second, it taps into the basic human need to feel valued. By preparing the space, you're turning it from just a room into a sanctuary for your relationship. You're signaling that this isn't just another routine activity, it's a sacred time set apart from the stresses of daily life. This act of care elevates the entire encounter from a purely physical release to an emotional experience. It shows him you value the intimacy you share, not just the act itself. So think about what romantic means to you and your partner. Maybe it's the scent of a particular essential oil. Maybe it's having a bottle of wine ready. Maybe it's just making sure your phones won't interrupt you. By taking charge of the atmosphere, you're making a profound statement about your desire and telling him, "I've been looking forward to this, and I've made this space for us." That gesture alone can be one of the sexiest things you can do. Number 11. Initiating sex in a romantic, affectionate way. At number 11, we have something that directly challenges one of the oldest social scripts out there, a woman initiating sex. But we're not just talking about any kind of initiation. The real power is in initiating with romance and affection. For generations, society has said that men are the pursuers and women are the gatekeepers of sex. This puts a ton of pressure on men to always make the first move and risk rejection. It can be exhausting and leave a man wondering, does she desire me as much as I desire her? One of the most common things I hear from men in my coaching practice is the secret wish that their partner would initiate more often. Research backs this up, showing that men find their partner's spontaneity incredibly exciting. When a woman initiates, it flips the script in the most exhilarating way. It says, "I'm not just receptive to you, I am actively seeking you out. I want you so badly, I can't wait." This is a huge affirmation of his desirability. It answers that unspoken question and confirms the attraction is mutual and powerful. But the real magic is in how you initiate. While a direct physical advance can be fun, initiating with romance taps into that deeper need for emotional connection that we know men crave. What does this look like? It's not a blunt proposition. It's a gradual, sensual build-up. It might start on the couch with an affectionate touch, gently rubbing his shoulders, or running your fingers through his hair while you're talking. It could be pulling him in for a long, lingering hug, and whispering in his ear how much you missed him. An affectionate initiation focuses on connection first. It might be saying, "I've been thinking about you all day," followed by a slow, deep kiss that says more than just hello. It's about creating a thread of intimacy that naturally leads toward the bedroom. This kind of approach feels less like a request for a physical act and more like an invitation into a shared experience. This works so well because it aligns perfectly with what studies show men want most, a mix of romance, affection, and physical intimacy. It validates his whole person, not just his body, but his emotional self too. When you initiate this way, you're telling him that you desire the full spectrum of intimacy with him. Many women I work with hesitate to initiate, fearing it might seem too forward or that they might face rejection. But the truth is, for most men in committed relationships, their partner initiating is one of the most validating and sexiest things she can do. It removes the burden of performance from him and creates a partnership of mutual, enthusiastic desire. Starting with affection is the perfect gateway. Number 10. Asking him what he wants. This next point, number 10, is so simple, yet it can radically transform your intimate life. It's the act of genuinely and curiously asking him what he wants. In the bedroom, there can be so much guesswork. We try to read non-verbal cues and make assumptions based on what we think men are supposed to like. But the single most effective way to know what your partner desires is to create a safe space to ask. Yet, this rarely happens. One 2024 study highlighted a fascinating paradox. While most people are reluctant to communicate anything other than pleasure during sex, a high level of comfort with a partner actually increases that communication. By being the one to open that door, you signal that your connection is strong enough to handle honest conversation. When a woman pauses and sincerely asks, "What feels good to you?" or "Is there anything you've been wanting to try with me?" it does a few incredibly sexy things. First, it shows a deep level of care. It shows that his pleasure is a priority for you. This taps into a man's core desire, to please his partner. There's a powerful reciprocity here. A lot of a man's sense of success in bed is tied to his partner's enjoyment. When you show you're equally invested in his enjoyment, it creates a beautiful feedback loop of mutual care. You're saying, "Your pleasure is my pleasure." Second, it shatters the stereotype that men are simple beings who all want the same thing. By asking him, you're acknowledging his unique individuality. You're recognizing that his desires are personal, and you're interested in learning his specific language in the bedroom. This is an act of deep respect that makes him feel truly seen. Third, it gives him permission to be vulnerable. Men are often socialized to be the confident ones who should always know what to do. Admitting they want something different or have a fantasy they've been shy about can feel incredibly vulnerable. Research on young men has shown that fear of rejection often holds them back from expressing their desires. When you create an opening for that conversation, you lift that burden from his shoulders. You're telling him, "You can be vulnerable with me. Your desires are safe here." This doesn't have to be a formal interrogation. It can be whispered playfully. "Show me how you like to be touched." Or it can be part of a quiet, intimate conversation over wine. I was thinking about you today and got curious. Is there anything we haven't done that you'd love to explore together? The act of asking is an invitation. It replaces assumption with communication, and that level of attunement is one of the smartest, sexiest things you can bring to the bedroom. Number 9, making and holding eye contact. Coming in at number 9 is an act that requires no words and no touch, yet it creates an electric current of intimacy. It's the simple yet profound act of making and holding eye contact during sex. You might think that during moments of intense physical pleasure, the focus would be entirely on the body. Many people close their eyes to heighten those feelings. But intentionally opening your eyes and daring to meet your partner's gaze introduces a layer of emotional connection that men find deeply and unexpectedly sexy. Relationship experts note that men want to see how their partner is feeling and reacting. They want to watch you lose yourself in the moment. Eye contact is the most direct window into that experience. So why is this so potent? First, eye contact transforms a physical act into a personal one. It's easy to get lost in the mechanics of sex, but when you lock eyes, it suddenly becomes about you two. It's a powerful reminder that you are not just two bodies moving together, you are two souls connecting. It says, "I see you, I am here with you." This level of presence is the antidote to disconnected sex. Second, eye contact is an act of profound vulnerability. To hold someone's gaze without looking away, especially in such a raw state, requires a huge amount of trust. It's a non-verbal declaration of, "I have nothing to hide. I'm letting you see all of me." For a man who craves deep connection, this is incredibly powerful. It shows you feel safe with him, which reinforces the emotional security of your bond. Third, it intensifies the feedback loop of pleasure. When a man sees the look in your eyes, the pleasure, the passion, the adoration, it becomes a more potent affirmation than any words could ever be. He sees his impact on you in real time. This visual confirmation of your arousal is a massive turn-on and a huge boost to his confidence. As one sex therapist points out, seeing a partner's pleasure is often the height of eroticism for men because it reflects the shared connection. Of course, this doesn't mean you need to maintain a constant, unblinking stare down. That would feel a little weird. It's about finding those moments to connect. It might be for a few seconds as you change positions, or a long, lingering gaze during a slower moment. It could be a playful, knowing glance that says, "You have no idea what you're doing to me right now." The next time you're with your partner, dare to open your eyes. Let him see the passion he's igniting in you. It's a silent language of desire, and it's one of the most intensely intimate things you can share. Number 8, playful teasing and building anticipation. At number 8, we're moving into the realm of the mind because so much of what makes intimacy incredible happens long before the main event. This is the art of playful teasing and building anticipation. It's easy to think of sex as something you just do, but that approach skips one of the most potent ingredients of desire: anticipation. The journey is often as exciting as the destination. Men, contrary to the stereotype of wanting everything right now, are highly responsive to the thrill of the chase, even in a committed relationship. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about co-creating a delicious tension that makes the end result that much more explosive. Playful teasing's the language of anticipation. It can start hours or even a full day before you plan to be intimate. A suggestive text in the middle of his workday can be incredibly powerful. Something as simple as, "I can't stop thinking about what I want to do with you tonight," plants a seed in his mind that will grow all day. This is incredibly sexy because it shows him he's on your mind and that you're actively desiring him even when you're apart. Research shows that while men may have historically sent more suggestive messages, the appeal of receiving them is high for both genders. This teasing can also be physical and in person. Imagine you're getting ready for a night out. As you walk past him, you let your hand linger on the back of his neck, lean in, and whisper, "You have no idea how good you look right now. Just wait until later." Then you walk away. That small moment creates a private promise between the two of you that builds a simmering excitement. Why does this work so well? Psychologically, anticipation triggers the release of dopamine in the brain, the same chemical associated with pleasure and reward. The build-up can be just as pleasurable as the reward itself. By stretching out the process, you're not just preparing for sex, you're marinating in desire. Plus, playful teasing shows confidence and a sense of fun. It shows you're not afraid to initiate a sexy game. You're comfortable with your own sexuality, and you're inviting him to play. This turns intimacy into an adventure, a shared secret you're both in on. It's a perfect way to inject novelty and excitement into a long-term relationship. You can be creative with this. A look across a crowded room, a forbidden touch under the table at a restaurant, a note left on his pillow. The goal is to create a sense of delicious friction, a promise of what's to come that makes him feel desired and elevates the eventual encounter from a routine act to the climax of a day-long seduction. Number 7. Guiding his hand or body. Coming in at number 7 is a bold, confident, and incredibly clear act of communication that men find absolutely irresistible. Physically guiding his hand or his body to show him exactly what you want. You might think that men should instinctively know what to do, but they can't read your mind. Every woman's body is different. There's a common reluctance to give feedback during sex for fear of hurting a partner's feelings. But staying silent and hoping he figures it out is a recipe for frustration. Direct physical guidance bypasses this anxiety completely. When you take his hand and move it to the spot on your neck that makes you melt, or you gently shift your hips to change the angle to exactly where you need it, you're not criticizing him. You are confidently showing him the treasure map to your pleasure. This is wildly sexy for several reasons. First, it's an act of supreme confidence. It shows you're in tune with your own body and you're not afraid to take charge of your pleasure. A confident partner is a major turn-on for men. It communicates that you are an active participant, not a passive recipient. It says, "I know what I want and I trust you enough to show you." Second, it takes the pressure off of him. Men feel an immense pressure to perform. They are often desperately trying to figure out what works, and the fear of getting it wrong creates anxiety. When you guide him, you're giving him a direct signal of success. You're essentially saying, yes, right there. It's like giving him the cheat codes to the game. This isn't emasculating, it's empowering. It removes the guesswork and allows him to relax and focus on pleasing you. which is a primary driver of his own satisfaction. Third, it creates a dynamic of teamwork. You are literally working together to create mutual pleasure. This can be especially powerful for closing what researchers call the orgasm gap. Studies consistently show that women in heterosexual encounters tend to have a lower orgasm rate than men. This gap often comes down to a lack of the right kind of stimulation. By physically guiding him, you are directly teaching him how to close that gap, leading to more pleasure for you and a greater sense of connection for him. You can do this in so many ways. It can be a gentle touch, moving his fingers just a little to the left. It can be whispering, slower, while you guide his hand. As some experts suggest, you can even use your hands to move his and position your body to ensure a good time for both. This isn't about being demanding. It's about being a generous and clear communicator. By showing him what you want, you are giving him the gift of knowing how to make you happy. And for a man who is invested in your pleasure, there is nothing sexier than that. Number 6, expressing your own pleasure, verbally and non-verbally. At number 6, we have what might be the single most powerful aphrodisiac for a man, a woman who audibly and visibly expresses her own pleasure. There's a myth that men are sexually selfish, but an overwhelming amount of evidence paints the opposite picture. For most men, there is no greater turn-on than knowing, seeing, and hearing that their partner is genuinely enjoying the experience. Many therapists report that men often care more about their partner's orgasm than their own, because a woman's pleasure is the height of eroticism for them. When you let go of inhibition and allow the sounds of your pleasure to be heard, the sighs, the moans, the breathy, yes, right there, it does something profound for him. It serves as immediate positive reinforcement. It tells him, what you are doing right now is working. Keep going. Your sounds of pleasure are the ultimate form of affirmation, and surveys show that words of affirmation are a top need for many men, as it confirms their ability as a lover. But it goes beyond just being a practical guide. Your audible pleasure is a sign of your engagement. When a woman is silent, a man's mind can start to wonder, is she enjoying this? Is she just going through the motions? But when he hears you, it confirms that you are right there with him, lost in the moment. Men often say that if their partner isn't mentally engaged, they're not interested. Your voice is proof of your engagement. The same is true for non-verbal expressions. The way your back arches, the way your fingers grip his shoulders, the way your eyes roll back. These are all part of the beautiful language of pleasure. He is not just feeling the sex, he is watching you experience it. This visual feedback is incredibly arousing. This is why faking it is so counterproductive. Men can often sense a disconnect. It lacks the authentic, involuntary responses that come with genuine arousal. More importantly, it robs you both of the chance to find what truly does work. A man would much rather have a slightly awkward moment where you guide him to what you really like than have you perform an empty act of pleasure. Being expressive is an act of generosity. You are sharing your pleasure with him. You are letting him in on your experience, making it a shared journey. He feels like he is the one bringing you this pleasure, and that sense of being your hero in the bedroom is a massive boost to his confidence and his emotional connection to you. So, let go. Give yourself permission to be loud. Let him hear how good he makes you feel. Let him see the effect he has on you. Your authentic pleasure is the most validating gift you can give him. Number 5, frequent passionate kissing. During the act. Coming in at number 5 is an act often seen as just a warm-up, but is secretly one of the most desired parts of the main event itself. Frequent and passionate kissing during intercourse. So often, as things heat up, kissing falls by the wayside. But for men, kissing's not just foreplay, it's a vital thread of emotional connection they want woven throughout the entire experience. In a major study from Indiana University on sexual preferences, kissing more often during sex was one of the top-rated behaviours men wanted more of. This finding flies in the face of the stereotype of men being solely focused on the physical goal, highlighting their deep desire for romance and affection. Why is this so sexy to a man? First, kissing is inherently intimate. It requires face-to-face connection. You can have sex in many positions, but a deep, passionate kiss requires a level of closeness and presence that is uniquely human. It continuously brings the focus back to your faces and the emotional connection you share. It's a constant reminder that this is an intimate exchange between two people who care for each other. Humans are relational, and acts like kissing reinforce that bond. Second, kissing keeps the romantic energy alive. Without it, sex can sometimes feel purely mechanical. By pausing to kiss passionately, you reinfuse the moment with romance. It blends the raw, primal energy of sex with the tender energy of love. This blend is the sweet spot many men crave. It's the difference between just having sex and making love, a term that sexologists note men are very open to, especially when it involves slower, more passionate acts like deep kissing. Third, the style of kissing can communicate so much. A slow, tender kiss can say, "I cherish you." A deep, hungry kiss can communicate raw passion. Varying the intensity and style of your kisses adds layers of texture, an emotional narrative to your lovemaking. It's a dynamic, non-verbal communication that keeps the experience exciting. Think about how you can incorporate this more. If you're in a position like missionary, it's natural. But even in other positions, you can find moments to connect. You can pull his face to yours or roll over for a moment to meet in a passionate kiss. The desire for more kissing is a direct clue into the male psyche. They don't want to sacrifice intimacy for intensity. They want both. They want the feeling of being emotionally connected to you, even amidst the most passionate physical act. Number 4, whispering sweet and romantic things. At number 4, we're talking about the power of words again, but with a surprising twist. While dirty talk gets all the attention, what many men find even sexier is when a woman whispers sweet, romantic, and affirming things during intimacy. The misconception is that men only want to hear profane, explicit language. And while many men do enjoy that, a more universal desire is to hear words that speak to the emotional connection. In a landmark study, saying sweet, romantic things during sex was one of the most appealing behaviours for men, ranking right alongside kissing and cuddling. This is a direct window into the male heart. Why is this so effective? It's because romantic words affirm the relationship, not just the act. When you whisper something like, "I feel so close to you right now," or "I love being with you like this," you are validating the emotional bond that makes the physical act meaningful. Men, especially as they mature, often find their libido is directly tied to how they feel in their relationship. One study found a majority of men couldn't separate their sex drive from the emotional closeness or distance they felt with their partner. Your romantic words are the fuel for that connection. These words also make a man feel successful, not just as a lover, but as a partner. Hearing, "You feel so good inside me," is a powerful physical compliment. But hearing, "I feel so safe with you," is a profound emotional compliment that speaks to his character. It tells him he is more than just a source of physical pleasure. He is a source of emotional security. Given that men are often socialized to be protectors, hearing that you feel safe and cared for is a deeply powerful affirmation. These sweet nothings deepen the intimacy of the moment. Here are some examples. Words of presence. "There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now." Words of appreciation. "Thank you for making me feel this way." Words of adoration. "You are so handsome." Or, "I love the way you're looking at me." Words of connection. "This is why I love you so much." These phrases don't kill the heat. They add a different, more meaningful dimension of warmth. It's the difference between a fire that burns hot and fast and one that burns with a deep, radiant, and lasting heat. Of course, this isn't to say you should abandon all dirty talk if you both enjoy it. A healthy mix is often the most exciting, but if you've been hesitant to speak up, start here. Start with the heart. Whisper the romantic truths that are already in your mind. You will be tapping into one of his deepest desires, the desire to know that this isn't just sex, it's an act of love. Number 3, being enthusiastically present. At number 3 is a behavior that's less about a specific action and more about a state of being. The incredibly sexy quality of being enthusiastically present and fully engaged. The gift of your undivided attention is one of the rarest and most valuable things you can offer. This is true everywhere in life, but it's magnified 1,000 times in the bedroom. When you are with your partner and you are fully there, not thinking about your to-do list, not worrying about how you look, that presence is a powerful aphrodisiac. What does it mean to be enthusiastically present? It means your mind is in the same place as your body. You're actively enjoying the sensations, emotions, and connection. A man can feel this. He can feel the difference between a partner who is passively going through the motions and one who is actively, excitedly engaged. As we've touched on, men will say that if their partner isn't mentally engaged, they lose interest. Your presence is a prerequisite for his desire. Why is this so sexy? First, it makes him feel like he is the center of your universe, at least for that moment. It communicates that he and the connection you're sharing are the most important things right now. This is deeply validating and makes him feel incredibly desired. Second, your presence gives you permission to get lost in your own pleasure, which, as we established at number 6, is a massive turn-on for him. When your mind is clear, you can tune into your body more deeply. You'll be more responsive, and your body's natural reactions will be more pronounced. He gets to witness you genuinely losing yourself in the pleasure he's helping to create. And that's the ultimate feedback. Your enthusiastic engagement fuels his own. There is no more powerful aphrodisiac for a man than a partner who is as excited about sex as he is. Third, being present fosters deeper emotional intimacy. True connection only happens in the now. When you're both fully present, you're more attuned to each other's subtle cues, the slight shift in breathing, the flicker in the eyes. This is where the silent language of lovemaking happens, and where the deepest bonding occurs. So how can you cultivate more presence? It starts before you even get to the bedroom. Put your phones on silent and in another room. If your mind is racing, take a few deep breaths together before you begin. During the act, focus on your senses. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you smell? Focusing on the sensory details pulls your mind out of its racing thoughts and into your body. Being enthusiastically present is a choice. It's a silent declaration that says, I am all in, right here, right now, with you. And that level of focused engagement is one of the most hypnotic and sexiest qualities you can possess. Number 2, post-sex cuddling and conversation. We're at number 2, and this one is about what happens in the crucial moments after the peak of physical intensity. Post-sex cuddling, closeness, and intimate conversation. There's a damaging cliche of the man who finishes, rolls over, and falls asleep, leaving his partner feeling used. While that might happen, it's not what men actually want. In fact, research shows the opposite. In studies asking men what they desire, cuddling was rated as one of the most appealing behaviours, even ranking above many other explicit sexual acts. Why is this aftercare so important and sexy to a man? First, it solidifies the emotional connection. During sex, the body releases a cocktail of bonding hormones, most notably oxytocin, the cuddle hormone. Oxytocin fosters feelings of trust and intimacy. By staying physically close after sex, cuddling, holding each other, you are marinating in that hormonal afterglow. This is where the emotional benefits of sex are truly cemented. It transforms the experience from a temporary high into a lasting relational glue. Second, it provides powerful reassurance. The moments after sex can be vulnerable for both partners. By turning towards him for a cuddle instead of away, you are non-verbally communicating. That was more than just physical for me. I want to stay connected to you. This simple act reassures him that he's valued for more than just his performance. It tells him you cherish him as a whole person. Third, this is often when the most honest and intimate conversations happen. In the quiet, vulnerable space after lovemaking, there is an opportunity for a unique kind of pillow talk. This is a time for quiet affirmations and for sharing feelings. Research has shown this post-coital conversation enhances a couple's connection because partners tend to be more positive and self-disclosing after sex. It can be as simple as whispering, "I love you," or "That was amazing." A man who feels desired emotionally, not just physically, is a man who will feel more confident and connected in the entire relationship. When you make a point to cuddle, to hold him, and to just be with him in those tender moments, you are sending the clearest possible signal that he is important to you. You're showing him that the intimacy doesn't end when the act does. Number 1, the ultimate synthesis, emotional connection. And here we are, at number 1. After all these specific actions, we arrive at the single sexiest thing of all. It's not a single act, but the foundational force that makes everything else on this list powerful. The number 1 sexiest thing a woman can do is to foster, prioritize, and engage in genuine emotional connection. This is the master key. For years, we were told that men's desire is simple and physical, while women's is complex and emotional. But science and therapy are now confirming what many knew all along. Men crave deep emotional connection just as much as women do. As one article in Psychology Today points out, the fact that men long for deep connection with their partners is one of the best kept secrets in our culture. What does this mean in the bedroom? It means that for a man, sex is often a way to feel connected. A physician specializing in men's health noted that what often drives a man's desire is the feeling of being connected and wanting to be close to his partner. Not just physically. The physical act becomes the language for an emotional need. I want to feel love. I want us to be on the same page. This is why one study found that a majority of men, 57%, said they could not separate their libidos from how they felt about their relationship's emotional closeness or distance. If they feel disconnected or misunderstood outside the bedroom, it's incredibly difficult for them to show up with passion inside it. So the sexiest thing you can do is tend to the emotional heart of your relationship. It's about creating a dynamic where he feels seen, heard, and appreciated. This happens in the small moments, the way you listen when he talks about his stressful day, the way you laugh at a shared joke, the feeling that you are on the same team. A study on long-term relationships found that an essential factor for both men and women is feeling that you truly matter to your partner. When that emotional bank account is full, the sex becomes a physical celebration of the connection you already have. Every touch is imbued with a deeper meaning. This is the synthesis of everything we've talked about. When you wear what makes you feel sexy, 13, and set the mood, to about 12, you're showing your desire for that connection. When you ask what he wants, 10, you show respect for his role in the connection. When you hold eye contact, 9, and guide his hand, 7, you're communicating safely within that connection. When you express your pleasure, 6, kiss passionately, 5, and whisper romantic things. 4, you are narrating the beauty of the connection in real time. When you are present, 3, and cuddle afterward. 2, you are honouring and sealing that connection. All of these are branches of the same tree, and the root is genuine emotional intimacy. The sexiest thing isn't a technique, it's a feeling. It's the feeling of being with a partner who is not just physically available, but emotionally attuned. It's knowing that you are making love with your best friend and your teammate. When a man feels that deep, foundational security and connection with you, it liberates him, because he knows he is safe, he knows he is loved, and he knows that this act is about so much more than his body. It's about his heart. And that, without question, is the sexiest thing of all. So there you have it, the 13 sexiest things women do in bed, according to what men and scientific studies actually reveal. As you can see, the theme running through almost every point isn't about performance, but about presence. It's not about acrobatics, but affection. And it's not about being taboo, but about being tender and attuned. We've learned that men deeply crave emotional connection and want to feel wanted, just like we do. From holding eye contact to post-sex cuddles, the things that truly resonate are those that affirm the emotional bond you share. They want more kissing, more romantic talk, and more enthusiastic engagement. In short, they want to feel that the intimacy you share is a special space built on mutual desire and care. By understanding these deeper truths, you can move beyond stereotypes and start building a more passionate and authentically satisfying, intimate life. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 13 points surprised you the most? Is there anything on this list that you've tried that has made a huge difference in your relationship? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and sharing our experiences is how we all learn and grow together. And if you found this video helpful and you're ready to take the intimacy in your relationship to a whole new level, I want to invite you to check out my Passionate Partnership Masterclass. In it, we go even deeper into the psychology of desire and the strategies to keep that spark alive. You can find the link to that in the description below. Finally, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And as a next step, you should definitely watch my video on the 7 signs your partner is deeply in love with you. It's the perfect companion to what we've talked about today. You can click on the screen right here to watch it now. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that the greatest intimacy begins with understanding, and you've taken a huge step in that direction today.